Hello, everybody, and welcome to First Ring Daily. I'm Brad, and he's Paul, and we are here together.
Oh, should I move over a little bit?
Oh, you could. I could have recentered you a little bit,
It's
but
all right. We'll figure this out.
yeah. Well, you know, we're professional podcasters at the end of the day, and this is what we do. So, Paul, this is the official, unless for some reason we wake up drunk tomorrow and want to do another podcast, the last podcast of 2017, which means 2018 is around the corner unless the asteroid hits the Earth like we all hope it will.
Given my retirement savings, that would be the best case outcome at this point, yes.
I laugh only because I care, Paul. Only because I care. Actually, I just hope when the meteor hits, it actually hits my house because I don't want to limp away or be in any sort of situation where I have to eat ants to survive.
Yeah, you don't want to be one of the survivors. I've seen The Walking Dead. It doesn't play out well for anybody.
No, and as I've mentioned many times here, my skin is not exactly built for survivalness in the wilderness. I get many rashes from different plants, and you know, if Meteor, if you're listening, Cincinnati, Ohio would be a fantastic place to just obliterate.
Much of the country would agree with that statement. Okay, I'm sorry.
You'll miss us when we're gone.
I'm sure it's a beautiful place.
You'll miss us where we're gone. But realistically, here's kind of the back of the book, I think, as Leo always calls it. But it's the back of the book of the year, which means 2018, which means CES is right around the corner.
Ugh. Ugh.
Yeah.
You know, okay, I'm going to try to. Here's my thing.
Yeah.
You know, you make New Year's resolutions every year, and then they never work out. I'm going to try to be a little more positive about things next year, in particular with CS, because the truth is, we're going to meet with some companies that we actually care about, right?
Yep.
We'll see Lenovo and Dell and HP and Microsoft, right?
Yep.
We're into tech gadgets and personal technology. That's what this show is all about. The weather has to be warmer there than it is where we both live right now. It's not a huge plane flight, given that we just went to Hawaii. So as crappy as that can be, flying in the winter, you know, whatever. And, you know, we have a goofy good time when we're together. So, I mean, like, what am I complaining about? It should be okay. I hate CS, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try.
Yeah, and so, to be honest, at the end of the day, people are going to look at this and like, Brad and Paul are so lucky. And yeah, you know, we could be a lot worse off. It's not so much CES that I don't like. You pointed out a lot of good things. We're going to go touch some things that won't be out for many months or potentially ever. We're going to get to see a bunch of old friends. We're going to get to see a bunch of cool stuff. To be honest, to me, it's just the city of Las Vegas. And if you live there, I'm sorry. But I just...
but even, but to be fair to Las Vegas, I mean, you have to point out that Vegas has some of the best restaurants on earth, right?
Yep.
And if you care about food at all, and it's a great experience. And if you live there, there is no show that happens on Earth that doesn't occur in Las Vegas. If you care about any recording artist, past or present, they're in Vegas.
Yep.
And then there are just the shows that are unique to Vegas, like the Cirque du Soleil shows and whatever else is there. I mean, it is a unique place. The whole strip thing and the grossness of it and how I feel like an alien civilization will judge us by Vegas is looming over it all the time. Like I completely agree, but you know, like the fake, like Paris stuff, the fake New York stuff, the fake whatever stuff, everything's fake there. But you know, I don't know. You get out into Vegas, to me, it's a lot like Phoenix, honestly. My dad lived there for several years. I've got a brother-in-law who lives there, and people have insisted to me who have lived in both places that it's in many ways even nicer than Phoenix once you get out into the you know, the suburban part of the place. So, yeah, yes, we do not look forward to this in many ways, but you know, if we handle this correctly, it should be okay. Now, you and I are going to be sitting in a cab in non-stop traffic that's going nowhere, and we're going to be hating life for sure. Within 2 weeks, this is going to happen. And I think it's just important at that time to remember that there is a McDonald's drive-thru that we can go through, and that you know, we'll be okay.
Yeah, life will go on. Life will go on. Speaking of going on, we're going to make a couple tech predictions here, or just kind of thoughts, food for thoughts here at the end of the day. So Microsoft for 2018, what do you what do you think is going to happen in the software world of
Yeah.
Microsoft?
So, I mean, I have a few. Most of my Microsoft or my predictions are based on the kind of the personal technology thing, and I realize Microsoft is mostly like cloud based and enterprise based and all that kind of stuff. But I think we're going to see VR finally come to the Xbox. I think we're going to see an Andromeda device, like a Surface branded, ARM based something, foldable mini computer with LTE capabilities, that kind of thing, always connected PC. I think we're going to see Microsoft rejigger its Windows as a service yet again, both to accommodate the enterprise customers who are not interested in upgrading again and again and again, and to accommodate just the basic fact that you can only add so many major new features in every release. You know, Mary Jo has sort of said we should go to the R2 system again, where every other one is a major release, and then the releases in between are minor releases, and I think that's the way to go. You know. And then, the other thing, unfortunately, I guess, for fans of the PC is I think the PC market continues to contract. And that means a number of things. It means fewer PCs sold, obviously. It means more PC alternatives sold, meaning Chromebooks and iPads and things like that. And it also means fewer, PC makers, frankly. I think we're going to see a consolidation of the number of major PC makers this year as well. And I guess, I don't know, I think in the Microsoft space, I guess that's kind of the big stuff for me.
Yeah, the only thing that I can think of that might be of interest that popped into my mind, and I know many people have been questioning or wondering this, is when is Microsoft going to ever raise the price on Office 365 for the consumer or the enterprise world? Does that happen in 2018?
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's been some. I haven't really written about this, but there's been an interesting backtracking on things like the number of SKUs, right? Microsoft for a while was lots of Office SKUs, lots of Windows SKUs. They kind of scaled it back, and now they're expanding that again. And that would be one way to raise prices. And if you think about it, Microsoft 365 is in many ways what you're asking. Like, how do you raise the price?
Yep.
Well, you give them additional benefits, and that thing costs more. And the mix changes where more and more enterprise customers in particular move to Microsoft 365, which is really, a version of Office 365 when you think about it. I think they need to do that on the consumer side as well, frankly. Make something called Microsoft 365. And that service could look very different than the enterprise version, of course, because those businesses or those customers have different needs. But the ability to remotely manage like home PCs is actually kind of a cool one. I think there's some cool stuff they could do there if they just did it. Yeah.
No, that will be interesting just to watch. That's just something I get asked all the time. Every time I'm at an event, it's like, when are they going to raise the price? And if I knew, that
yes. Could I lock in now? Could I just buy 3 years of subscriptions?
Yep. And so it'll be interesting. I think Xbox side, I would love it. I've been hearing this for a while, and it still hasn't materialized that they have an Xbox Elite Controller 2 done,
right? But
they haven't shipped it. And I originally thought that maybe last year, but then no, that wouldn't make sense. They're not going to launch the Scorpio and that new, because you're going to remember the Elite Controller is getting a little old. There were a lot of issues with the rubber padding. I wonder if we'll see an update to that. So I don't know.
I don't have mine in front of me because I just moved my office, but my Elite Controller, the left, the wing or whatever this is called, that part of it, that rubber stuff that you're talking has come off completely, like it's gone. Yep. So the right side feels awesome, and the left side feels cheap and terrible. And the Xbox Elite controller is based on the previous generation controller, so the new version has built-in Bluetooth and better connectivity, and a couple of other just little small design changes. But I think the headphone jack too, right? Isn't that the big difference? Like there's a headphone jack.
Yep.
Which enables you to do voice commands, right, without a Kinect. So, yeah, they need that. I would buy that the second it came out. I can't wait for that to happen.
Yeah. So we'll see if that happens. And then jumping over to the Cupertino, or I should say California side of the pond, or the country. So we've got Apple. I don't know if we're going to see any big. There's no leaks yet of any new hardware, so it looks like it's probably going to be a refresh, maybe just across the board for them.
Well, I mean, I hope what they do is get rid of the old designs of the iPhones and release, the iPhone 10 as we see it today should be the iPhone. And there should be a bigger version called the iPhone, whatever, 11 or whatever they call it, Plus. And they should bring this design down to the SE as well. I mean, I think the appeal of the SE is not the design, although it's iconic, absolutely, but rather the screen size. I think the reason that device is popular is because of that screen size. And they should just have 3 screen sizes with the same technology. I wish that they would put a fingerprint reader on the back. That would put this device over the top for me. They will never do that because Apple refuses to admit that
they
that
know
was
you want it, so they're not going to do it.
Yeah, now that I've expressed my desire for it, it's never happening. I'm sorry, world. But yeah, I mean, the other thing to look for there is this kind of hybrid device. There's been rumors of iOS apps coming to the Mac. I've seen those rumors squashed, by the way, by a few people since then. And also whether they'll ever really get serious about the iPad Pro as a real kind of post-PC device. They went halfway there with iOS 11, but it is super non-discoverable and really quirky, and it still lacks that kind of pointer functionality, which everyone thinks is impossible in iOS for some reason. But I'd love to see them really kind of go for it. I just don't, expect to see them to do that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what iOS 12 brings, by the way, which is
yeah. The ability to put icons on the screen where you actually want them. There's an idea. I just throw that out.
Yep.
I'll eventually get that correct.
Well, there's also a bit too that I have it cropped, so it could be the cropping is.
I think if the cropping wasn't there would actually be more room above my like it's just every time you move the thing, it's you can never get it back exactly right.
Yep. The only other thing I'm looking forward to, and people are going to groan, and it's not the AirPods, Paul. I'm still running the first gen Apple Watch. It desperately is. I'm assuming that I need a new battery in that because it's slow as shit now.
Right. That's not just the battery. I mean, I think from 1 to 2 was kind of a big leap, and from 2 to 3 maybe wasn't, but for you, that would be a big leap. So the question is, when would a new watch come out?
Right. And I'd like to
probably
hold on.
9 months from now.
Right.
So,
I'd like to hold off because, I mean, it's fine for the two major, I use it for 3 things. 1, the time, 2, fitness, which includes going to the gym, and then 3, golf, which the golf one is the iffy one because the battery life sucks so bad that when you start using GPS with the phone and all that stuff, it really drains it. And I don't think I can get through 18 holes anymore before it falls. But,
should see if they have refurbished watches. I bet they do.
Yeah, we actually bought my wife Apple Watch 2 right when they announced the 3 because it was so cheap. And going from a 2 to 3 wasn't really worth it for us. For her, she wants the same thing. She just wants to be able to go to the gym, track it. And but anyways, I'm hoping that maybe the 4 will maybe have a new design or whatever, and then go from there. And then what about El Goog?
I know. I haven't published it yet, but today I'll put up my article about the top 5 stories from 2017. And the thing that sticks out in my mind when it comes to Google is just this hardware push. And I sort of made the argument that the benefit that Google can bring to the hardware part of the equation is not in their devices, right? It's not the Google Home. It's not the phone. It's not the giant speaker, or the stupid Pixel Buds or whatever. It's the integration of machine learning and AI capabilities into chipsets that can go into hardware, and that they should open that up to third parties. Even if you look at something like Google Home, like the Google Home itself, that appliance, that little, antiperspirant looking thing that you can put in your kitchen has been reasonably successful, right? Yeah. But other companies are integrating that into their own products, and they should allow them to do so. I think Google is a little bit like Microsoft. They have their own stuff, but they let other people license it too. So very different from Apple. I think that stuff is going to be the key to getting good products into your house. So in other words, Google Home Max is good, but it's not as good as Sonos. What I want is Sonos with Google Home in it. And Chromecast capabilities. That would be perfect. That'd be the end of it for me. So I'd like to see them do that. And am I predicting that they will do that? I don't know. You see it a little bit, like on the assistant stuff. You are seeing assistant. But I want them to take it further. I want their hardware innovations to go to third parties. You know, that Sony or LG or Samsung or whatever could release an appliance that has Google, you know, SoC stuff in it. I think that's a huge future for that ecosystem, and that would be really big. I'd like to see them get the Google Pixel 3 right this time. You know, it's funny to me, like I just reviewed the iPhone 10. It's a gorgeous device. I can recommend it on some levels and not on some others. But I never once for a second did I ever consider not using the Pixel 2 XL, despite its many problems, some of which you've witnessed. They need to get that right or give up. Like if they can't get the Pixel 3 perfect, then please, dear God, stop making phones. You're drunk.
The one thing I will point out, and I'm actually waiting for this because it might actually spur on the purchase, is when you talked about Sonos, they have their Echo One. I don't want to say the name because it'll blow up my office. I believe they said that they are going to integrate Google Home into that, so you actually have a choice on that hardware, which to me, that will be a really big deal because then you can just what I hope is that you don't even have to like set it up. You just scream. Like if I scream the Amazon one, it works. If I scream the Google one, it works.
My brother was visiting this week, and his daughter and my daughter are like best friends, and so they were upstairs in Kelly's room doing whatever. And he needed to get going, and he's like, "How come they're not down here?" And I'm like, "Hold on, I can do this." And I'm like, I said, "Hey, G," I don't want to say it out loud. And then you say broadcast, and then I said, "Girls, get the hell downstairs." And then this statement was broadcast throughout the house to all of our speakers.
Nice.
And he was like, "I need to buy this right now."
Yep.
You know, it's just classic.
It's the modern intercom system.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
You just don't have to put it in your wall and have this ugly thing sitting there for 50
exactly.
years. Yeah. So those are kind of the big ones. I don't know. Facebook will do what Facebook does. Twitter will hopefully start working reliably and less negatively. Hopefully Skype starts working. You know, that like 2018, the Skype team should sit down on a whiteboard and just write it works. Like that should be their goal.
Yeah. How do we get there?
Yeah.
Baby steps, you know?
Yep.
I don't know. God, Skype. I look, for all its problems, I mean, Skype is the one app I put on the front screen of every one of my phones.
Yep.
Like I rely on Skype, and that is possibly the dumbest thing that's ever come out of my mouth. But but I do. I rely on Skype. I mean, we use it all the time.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely true. I was trying to think, is there any way to get away from it? And nope.
Oh, I reevaluate everything. I'm literally going to, sometime in the next few days, hopefully post something like a how I write type thing and talk about tools. And I know you've written about this year, and you switched to, what's it called, Appy Text? Or I have an interesting alternative to the tool I'm using to write, but that doesn't matter. The point is I constantly reevaluate the things that I use constantly. And maybe no more or nothing. How do I say this? I reevaluate the things I use the most, if that makes sense. Web browsers, writing tools, email, calendar, things like that. I look at this stuff all the time. And there is nothing I can use that replaces Skype. There just isn't. And I know people will, chime in with their own special messaging choices and everything. It's not as simple as like a spec-to-spec comparison. I mean, it has to do a lot with the community of people that use the thing too. It's the reason we used Windows Messenger back in the day is the same reason we use Skype today. Primarily, it's because so many people that we communicate with use it.
Yep. So I'll leave with just one little food for thought here. Actually, you should look into this because I think this will be a big deal. There's an app coming to Windows called IA Writer. It is that's coming to Windows. They announced that. It does Markdown support. I'm actually very interested in this.
Okay.
Right now, the one thing it doesn't do is support OneDrive, which I'm hoping that it does. It supports Dropbox and then Google Drive, but it's not on Windows, so why would they support OneDrive?
I think I paid for it on the iPad. It's one of the ones I've looked at. So that's part of that article I mentioned is that, it's interesting on Apple platforms. There's a huge selection of distraction-free writing tools available, for some reason. On the Windows side, we don't see a lot of that. The one I will mention in this article is called Write with an exclamation point. I actually paid for it over the holidays. It was only $5 on sale. It's normally I don't know what it is, 10 or 15 bucks. It's actually very, very good. It's got a couple of little quirks, but as far as like it looks like a Windows Store app. It isn't. You get it from the web.
Yeah.
It's available, I think, on the Mac and I think on Linux too. But I like the UI quite a bit. You can customize it quite heavily. But it's like the transition when I went from Metro Twit to eventually Twitter Lite. It took years for me to find something. I kept getting close. There were things that were like, not quite. And the writing tool thing is like that. Like Markdown Pad is never going to be updated again. It's unsupported, obviously. Yep. It requires a bizarre like SDK install in addition to the app itself. I have to keep these things on hand because it's an out-of-date version of that SDK. And I love it. And it's really hard because it's not necessarily ideal. So, yeah.
Well, with that, Paul, you got any parting words for 2017?
No. Well, Happy New Year.
Yep.
We have friends arriving today, so we're going to be doing our standard New Year thing, which involves various fondues and various forms of alcohol consumed interchangeably. So I'm excited for that. I will be foregoing the bread, but yeah, should be good. What do you guys do over? You told me you went to you go to friends.
Yeah, we're going to a friend's house that we can walk to, which is
nice, ideal.
Always an ideal situation. Actually, this afternoon, once we finish this podcast, I get it edited and uploaded. A new place open called Pies and Pints. And you can infer what they serve there. And
are they meat pies or like dessert pies?
I think they're pizza pies.
Oh, of course. I'm sorry. The other pie.
To be fair, they could be meat pies. I don't actually know. This place just opened. Somewhat tragically, it's right next to the gym that I go to. So every day when I go in, I go, and I can smell the deliciousness.
The little carb loading on the way out.
Yeah, and I've never been in there. It's been open for a while, but a couple of the neighborhood guys, and I think my brother might actually go too.
Right.
We're going to meet up there this afternoon. So
nice.
Yep. So
well, Happy New Year.
Yes. All that good stuff. Well, that wraps it up for us today, folks. This is the end of 2017. Good, bad, or indifferent. The year is now over. 2018 brings a lot of promise and a whole bunch of other stuff for us here at Thurrott.com. As a friendly reminder, go check out the premium sale because it is going to be ending very soon and it won't be coming back for another year. So go check that out. Get your good savings on. And just, perfect timing. My TV shut off behind me. Miracast shut down. And I think it's time to...
You're done.
Yeah, I think we're done here, folks. Have yourself a wonderful and safe New Year's, and we'll catch you right back here in 2018.